House is basically holding the carrot in front of people, saying if you vote Fine Gael back in, we're going to do this. Even though they should do it now, they can do it now if they want to. They're still down to the election. They're still going to be in government until the election. They're still there as a government. They're still there as a government. Simon House is still the Taoiseach. He could do it if he wanted to with a flick of a pen, if he wanted to now, if he really, really did. But again, he wouldn't get the votes. So he's dangling the carrot in front of the small business owners, particularly hairdressers, small businesses with the fat. And we all know the fat is killing small businesses, restaurants, and particularly pubs. It's killing them at the moment as we speak. So they want to reduce it to 11%, which would help businesses a lot. But the fact of the matter, they could do it now, today. They don't have to wait until after the election. Why wait? They're in government now. It's different if they're in the opposition. You could say, oh, they don't have the power, which is true. But at the same time, they're in government still. Why can they not? They could do it. If Simon House only has a flick of pen, that's it done. Dusted. And not even that. A few weeks ago, as we remember before when the budget was on, they could have done it then if they wanted to. People were protesting. There was about maybe 4 or 5 thousand business owners protesting. Some people here from Cavan too went up to Dublin to protest. Had to close their business for the day to go up and protest because it's killing them. There's a few small pubs in Cavan Town. There's a few small pubs in Bertoba there. Are struggling. They don't know if they're going to be open next year, and that's the simple fact. So every month that they're waiting, so take for example, if the government doesn't form, take for example before the end of December, it could be January, and that's a lot more money down the drain for them pubs, and you could say it's the busiest time of the year coming up too. But you have to understand, rural Ireland, particularly, it's going to affect them more. In the city centres, they don't have to worry about the pubs because they have a lot more money coming in. But in rural Ireland, people are not going out drinking as much as they used to. Back in the day, people used to live in the pubs. People can't afford it nowadays. They don't have much money left over. So, and it's important. And it supports a lot of jobs. You think about the amount of pubs in this country that employ people. It's insane. And then hairdressers, small local hairdressers. I could think about 20 hairdressers that used to be in Cavan, and they had to close. A few young women that came out of college, done the degree, and they had to close because they couldn't afford the fat. They couldn't make ends meet. And then the rent for the business is astronomical. And the majority of them young people now are off in Australia and having the greatest time of their life. And while over here we work them to death. And that's really what it is. But my point to the whole lot of this is they could do it now. They don't have to wait 2 months. They don't have to wait a month. They could literally do it now. Simon Howes just has to flick a pen. That's it done. Because they're still there technically to the day of the election. There will be a caretaking government until the government forms. So because technically they still have a mandate at the moment for the election. They're still kind of there. They're still making the decisions until the election, and after that they're a caretaking government. Until the election's done, then obviously when the next government, whatever that be, formed. But it's insane because again they could have done this less than a few weeks ago in October, the 1st of October. They could have done it in the budget. There was people crying for it. I even said about it many times because that's what's killing. It would help, but not in the majority of cases too. It's the rent. Particularly with hairdressers, we talk about rent, and then obviously the majority of pubs too. The rent in the place, it is killing them. So they should be doing it now, to be told, because by the time they have it all said and done, and who knows would they do it, because again you couldn't trust them as far as you could throw them. But it's basically just dangling the carrot and hoping that somebody take the carrot. Because again, I wouldn't mind if there wasn't in the budget. They had time then. People were telling them. I remember even Matty McGuire. I remember even many TDs. Even remember even Fine Gael's own TDs. I remember Fianna Fáil TD too, standing up and saying about it. They've never done anything about it. And now when the elections, you're dangling the carrot in front of the people, hoping they be stupid enough to vote them in. Now to be totally honest, I'd say to business owners, if you take Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, if they do get in, I'd be surprised if they do it, to be totally honest, because they just seem to be so hell bent on making Irish businesses suffer. They don't care about obviously Google, Apple, and Amazon. They don't pay any taxes. They're here on a holiday. They don't pay anything. They don't like Irish businesses. They don't like Irish people having businesses. They're all right with Amazon and TikTok, and they're all right with Facebook because they're big multinational companies. They don't care. They don't pay any taxes. Or look at Apple, take for example. If that was an only pub fella down the road that was missing a few euro from the revenue, if he was missing say €2,000, he didn't pay in revenue because he doesn't have the money to pay it because his pub's going under. You mean to tell me the revenue wouldn't go bang on his door and to take his pub and everything with them? Because that's what they would do. Let's be fair, that was no one else. But Apple gets special treatment. They all get special treatment here. These big multinationals. Well, the only Irish Joes work to death. And as we see here, small businesses, as I said, but them young women. I knew 2 or 3 of them at the school. They got a part-time job in hairdressers and stuff. After the college, they got a part-time job. Testing them out, etc., etc. A lot of them couldn't afford, and these are even just only workers, they couldn't afford rent. They couldn't afford anything. They couldn't afford to live. And the majority of them are gone. never to come back. Because to be totally honest, who could blame them? That's a different story for a different day, but Irish people leaving. But still, nonetheless, dangling the coward in front of people, it's a very shameful thing, especially because they could have done it. It wasn't like it was some surprise that this turned up out of the blue. People have been saying it for months, particularly when the budget was going on. People were saying the businesses, as I say, there was a big protest in Dublin. And all of a sudden now they're like, we're going to do it. And again, it's all just to get a few votes. To hope the people, because again, they're all afraid that they won't be getting in Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. And I would say to people to think about it, and I'm sure business owners as well, but to think about the past government, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the Greens. To be totally honest, they're one and the same. The three of them are one and the same. If you vote for Fianna Fáil, you get Fine Gael and the Greens. If you vote for Fine Gael, you get the same, and it's all the same base. They're one and the same. There's no difference between them. Might as well blend into one, because there's no difference since the Irish. The only time there ever a difference was back maybe in the 30s and the 40s when the Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, the pro-treaty and anti-treaty side. Nowadays they're one and the same. They're in bed with each other, and that's pretty much it.